Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing my top 5 best movies of 2013. Yes, I just previously did top 5 worst movies, so you go check that out, see what my worst movies were. But this was a little harder to pick. There was actually a lot of good films towards the end of this year. I remember towards the beginning of this year, especially January, February, movies sucked. There was a lot of bad movies that I didn't end up even seeing in the movie theater, but I know that from other people and other critics I hear they sucked. Movie 43. There was a couple of movies that, again, I wasn't even interested in seeing in the beginning of the year, and I felt like, ooh, is 2013 going to be a good year? And let's just say there was some really good movies, especially towards the end of the year. So before I do start, I just want to give 2 honorable mentions that didn't make the list but almost did. And those were Saving Mr. Banks, which I just recently saw, also have a review on, and Monsters, Inc. University, which I actually saw on the Disney Fantasy boat, so that was really cool. So both really good movies, but we're this close to getting on the list, but I did feel that there are other movies that were slight better. So, but those 2 movies were very good also. Alright, so let's do number 5, which was actually something I reviewed today, which was Wolf on Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street. So yeah, this was just a really fun film, and more of a comedy than a drama in my opinion, but of course had that dramatic element, but Scorsese. It was just so fun. It was 3 hours, but it didn't feel like 3 hours. I wasn't really bored with it. You know, it couldn't get to those 5 stars, maybe because of the ending felt a little unsatisfying, and the main story is something you've seen before, but the way it's approached was so fun. And Leonardo DiCaprio, probably the best performance of the year in that film. Loved what he did with the character, and he was so memorable. The character was so memorable. Jonah Hill, Matthew McConaughey, they were great in this film too. So it was just a really fun movie to see what these actors could really do. So performance-wise, awesome. Comedy-wise, great. I laughed so, you know, it is inappropriate laughter, but I laughed so many times during this film. So just a really fun film. I recommend it maybe to see at home just because it is a longer movie, but if you're okay with longer movies, you have to see this at least once. It's a really good film and one of my favorites. I'm really glad I got to see this before the year ended. And hopefully get some Oscars. Alright, number 4 is something I was like totally obsessed with, and that was Frozen. I just really enjoyed this. I thought the music was great, something I got addicted to, and it was the old Disney that we really have been missing. And I think Tangled almost did that. I know a lot of people love Tangled. I like Tangled also. Princess and the Frog tried doing this, and I feel like it was a mix of Princess and the Frog and Tangled if you want to relate modern films. It made a little bit of Wreck-It Ralph with comedy and like really unique story. It kind of mixed it all together, and then you got Frozen. The element of Princess and the Frog having more music, Tangled having maybe a lead female role, and then Wreck-It Ralph having that original story, just like mixing it all up, and that's Frozen. The acting was great. Loved Kristen Bell. Loved Anita Mazel. And again, the songs were just really addicting. I remember being addicted to the songs. I'm still kind of addicted to the songs now, and I saw it twice in the theaters. And it just had a really good message. So one of my favorite Disney films of modern times definitely is Frozen, and I recommend the film, and that's number 4 on my list. I'm glad that Disney film made it, even though Saving Mr. Banks didn't make it. That was also very good. Number 3, I think some people are going to be surprised just because I know some people didn't end up liking it, but Kick-Ass 2. I was looking forward to this film a lot, and I totally enjoyed it. It is very different from the comics, but I love the first film. I love the second film. Hit Girl was awesome, even though she was trying to be a normal girl. That was what was awesome about it. Was there some, I guess, things that changed from the first film that didn't quite make sense, like Katie breaking up with Dave in the first 5 minutes of the film for no reason? Sure, there's things like that that really don't make sense. But I had a lot of fun with this. You know, it was just kick-ass. It was hilarious. It was a great superhero film, and I just had a blast with this. So Kick-Ass 2 had to be number 3 on my list. It's something I was most anticipated for the year, and I think it actually met my expectations. So something I'm looking forward to on DVD. I would say all of these I'm really looking forward to on Blu-ray. It's something I would buy on Blu-ray, even though I've already seen it in the theaters. Number 2 is Hunger Games Catching Fire, and this actually got 5 stars. Everything else below was a 4.5, but Hunger Games is a perfect film to me. It was 2.0 of Hunger Games, the original Hunger Games. They fixed everything that was wrong about the first Hunger Games. Did they spend a little bit too much time setting up to go to Hunger Games. Some people think so, but I had a lot of fun with that. I thought Jennifer Lawrence did a great job. I thought Josh Hutcherson did a better job than he did in the first film. And then I enjoyed meeting all these other characters I actually cared for. Finnick was a fan favorite of mine. Still think about that sugar cube scene, which was great. And then the ending, you're just like, I want more. So, and there was no shaky cam. The originality of I would say the stadium and really the games in itself was great. I just had really a blast with all the action there, and it was, I think, again, 2.0. Everything that was really a 2.0 of that original film. Everything was better. The Hunger Games was great in the first film, but it was better in the second one. Leading up to the Hunger Games was great in the film, but the second one was better. And I thought the themes were really shown in this film about media and about government, and that's something I loved about this, because you can really look into this film, not just as a teen or a young adult book, but it has so many great themes that I think you really enjoy and watch over and over again. And again, great performances and a great story, and it makes me totally excited for this third one, which will be in 2 parts and will be next year, I think in the same time. So very excited for Hunger Games 3, Part 1, I guess, Mockingjay Part 1, but it's just a really fun film, and I love the franchise, and again, big Jennifer Lawrence fan, so sad to see a Jennifer Lawrence movie on worst lists, but also really happy to see it very high on my best list. Alright, number 1. What is number 1? And that's Gravity. Wow, this movie was good. Even though the story is mostly Sandra Bullock lost in space, and a lot of people's like, oh, it's overhyped. But really, one thing I love about a film is if it sucks you into the story, you kind of forget you're sitting in a movie theater. And that's exactly what Gravity did. You felt like you were lost in space with Sandra Bullock, even though George Clooney wasn't in it that much, which I was a little disappointed about. But Sandra Bullock made that film. And just the atmosphere, the music, the soundtrack is what really got you into it. You're like, you felt like you're lost in space, and once, I won't spoil the ending, but once the ending comes, you're just like, you're like trying to breathe, and you're like, am I alive? You know, finally, whatever that happens in the end, you know? You really felt what really Sandra Bullock's character was feeling, and when I walked out of the theater, I was like, whoa, I just feel a little different, because you did feel like you're in space, and you felt like you're in a different place. And again, the effects were great, the story, you cared about the characters enough, and again, it was more for the atmosphere and just, I would say, the groundingness of being in space. You know, usually if you have a space story, you'll have lasers and aliens, but no, this was real space. This was really what astronauts go through. And that's what was fun about it. It was a grounded space story, which I've never seen. It was something really original. So I hope this goes up for some Oscars, because this was my favorite film of the year and something totally original, and I definitely recommend. So this is Comic Uno. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell me your favorite movies that you saw this year in 2013. So hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and their end situations, and don't forget to like my Facebook page, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.